facility.
What's going on?
I don't know if you'll be able to do that.
If
they had green facilities going and people went to college to go to green facilities, they'll get the jobs before you do if you don't have experience in these technological facilities. Anyway, Joe Biden and them made the cages, and he never answered it. Trump said, "Who made the cages, Joe?" Everybody know they made the cages. Welfare is a helpless step, not a career. I was on welfare for 3 months of my life when I first had my son, and now look at me. You use it when you need it, and you get off of it. And you know what? To be honest, I paid enough taxes to pay for that time that I was on welfare for 3 months. I paid that 1,000 times. I paid that in a paycheck. How much I used from the government when I was on food stamps when we first had our son. Y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button too. I ain't even say hit the like button. I know my mods are killing it. I didn't say hit the like button. I value you and your input. I appreciate it, man. Y'all, hey, thank y'all. I'm skipping down. Island. Biden never answered a single question. He just deferred it back to Trump. 100%. Let's see. Andrew, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank all y'all for joining the Tatum Squad. Hit that join button and join the Tatum Squad. Let's see. Richard, thank you so much for the super chat. Biden said Iran is going to interfere. I think I read that. So I'm all read up from there. And I'm gonna get you here. Frank, thanks so much for the super chat. Photos of Obama's daughter credit card with cocaine on it. On Hunter's laptop. Hold on. Photos of Obama's daughter credit card with cocaine on it on Hunter's laptop. I need that evidence. I need evidence. Bolu, thanks so much for the super chat. Trump said he is the least racist president in the world. That's funny. It's still I still remember he called COVID Kung Flu.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Jared, thanks so much for the super chat. Trump 2020, period. Biden done. Insane Reaper. In-person voting open today in Arizona. I personally went to Tucson City Hall and cast for D. Trump.
Already got them joints. God damn.
Ask you. And you know what? I want to stay on the issue of race. Of course you do. Of course you do. Because that's what the Democrats and the left always want to do. Because they don't have policies. They don't have pure excuses for their corruption. So what is it? Race. We want to get back on. So what is it? Race. We want to get back on the topic of race. You know why racial issues is so big in America right now? It's because they make it big. That's why. Because they make it their mission to bring that up constantly. Is it something? Is it something? Obama, I mean, when he got brought in, Joe, he was talking about that guy right there. That's a storybook tale. He's not like the rest of those black guys. Did I say it right? Because normally I use color. Okay, yeah. He's not like the rest of those black guys. Right. He's sharp and smart, and he dresses neat, articulate. Yeah. Most of them walk around with their pants right around their ankles. They're rocking their dually ropes. And they got those dreadlocks or either the high top fades. Yeah. And they walk around with their boom boxes, making all that noise pollution. Rolling dice makes me sick. But I can't tell people that. I love black people. Vote for me. I'm Joe Biden. All right, let's continue. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, wait. Okay, now let's go. Let's go to here. We almost done. Okay. Many accomplishments for blacks. Trump went through that. What else we meet? Okay. Wall Street.
In the meantime, we find out in the New York Times the other day that, in fact, his folks went to Wall Street and said this is a really dangerous thing. And a memo out of that meeting, not from his administration, but from some of the brokers, said sell short because we got.
I wonder who told Joe that this was a good strategy to start bringing up big donors, to start bringing up Wall Street. Normally, you don't see a lot of big Wall Street folks dropping money into conservatives and stuff like that. The Democrats are so hypocritical because what they've tricked people into thinking in America that Republicans are all about the Benjamins, That's right. They're walking around like Puffy Combs and Little Kim and all of them. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. Yeah, y'all remember that.
Yeah,
Kim,
make it nice.
with the blood clot.
Make it nice.
Want to
Oh.
rumble with the bee, huh?
Yeah.
Throw a hex on your whole family. Y'all know the song. But anyway,
Yeah.
they want us all to
Your
think
whole
that
family.
that's what the Republicans are about, and we're fighting for the little guy. That's what we're doing as we're taking huge donations
Mm.
from all these big companies, including big tech. Now I'm wondering why. Why would Facebook, Twitter, and probably even YouTube and some others, why would they just muffle the story about Hunter Biden for no reason? Huh? Or could it be that they are also working in cahoots with this bump? But he brings up Wall Street, so let's see how it goes.
Get moving. It's a dangerous
Well,
problem.
this is
I'm going
what
to give you
this
30
is what I
seconds
have
to
a-
respond, and then we're
The
going
Wall
to
Street
move
one, I
on.
don't know. Somebody went to Wall Street. You're the one that takes all the money from Wall Street. I don't take it.
I have.
You have raised a lot of money, tremendous amounts of money. And every time you raise money, deals are made. I could raise so much more money
Deals are
as
made.
president and as somebody that knows most of those people. I could call the heads of Wall Street, the heads of every company in
Heads
America.
of all
I
your
would
money.
blow away every record, but I don't want to do that because it puts me in a bad position. And then you bring up Wall Street. You shouldn't be bringing up Wall Street.
You should never bring up Wall Street.
Now, y'all, I don't know why he went down that trail. That was like when Hillary Clinton went down that trail talking about some taxes and stuff, and asked him thinking he was going to make an excuse. Of course, I took advantage of the tax codes. Yeah, I mean, I'm smart. That's why. I took advantage of the same thing that your folks who donated to you did. So why are you trying to point out me? Look at him. He's taking advantage of the tax loopholes. He didn't write the tax codes. They ain't going it. You got to be an idiot to say, well, you know what? I want to pay more. What did Bernie Sanders do when they asked him about that? Okay, Bernie, you want to raise taxes, all this stuff. How about you pay more than what you should? I'm not going to do that. Well, of course you're not, because you're a hypocrite. All right. Since you're talking about climate change, then why don't you stop flying, put your pro kids on, and start getting on the hop when you got to do your campaign running from state to state? Or start up that Volkswagen Rabbit and start driving to your new locations. Forget the, you know what? No, the Volkswagen Rabbit burns gas. So get on that big wheel or that green machine that you done had since childhood, where the wheel gets worn down on the front. And when you riding, it's doing this the whole time, but you don't care. And you get to the bottom of the street, pull that lever and slide out. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Totally off topic, but I just went back to 1985. It was great. Good times. All right. Now, so this man wants to talk about Wall Street and all of that stuff. And big donors. And I think he might have opened up a can.
The one that takes the money from Wall Street, not me. I could blow away your records that like you wouldn't believe. We don't need
You've
money.
never
We have plenty of
seen
money. In
before.
fact, we beat Hillary Clinton with a tiny fraction of the money that she was able.
All right.
True. Now,
Her money.
you know why I love Trump versus that bum on the other side? Because since Trump don't do that, Trump is independent enough to make decisions that might just bump up against Wall Street. That's the whole purpose of having a non-politician who relied on the success and also the contributions of the people and not other politicians and big companies. So they can't go in and say, Trump, I need you to go easy on that illegal immigration issue. Remember, we donated all this money to your nonprofit for some reason that we don't even care about. Don't even know what the purpose is. It was pretty much just a payment to you to be easy on these laws. See, but yet here Biden trying to paint him as some type of hungry, person with Wall Street. Now, hold up, wait. We almost done, y'all. Okay, let's see. I think it was one more clip we want to go over. We got that. Okay. All right. So this is one we do need to even talk about. All right, ready for this one? Real quick.
Will your child with free education for
Darn YouTube commercials. I ain't have time to pull them off and give them the cut. But this one right here is important. So here we go. Let's see. Last one. Oh, wait. Who is this guy? This pudgy guy coming out. Huh? Okay. Let's see what he wants to say. Hey, let's
security clearance?
Mhm.
My father and grandfather both served for decades in our country's armed forces.
Oh.
Since leaving the Navy, I've been involved in various successful businesses, both in this country and abroad. I'm making this statement to set the record straight about the involvement of the Biden family, Vice President Biden, his brother Jim Biden,
Jim Biden,
and his son Hunter Biden
Hunty.
in dealings with the Chinese.
Oh,
I've heard Joe Biden say that he's never discussed business with Hunter.
was that true?
That is false.
That was false. No, what? Kiss my grits.
No
you
way.
can't tell me that Joe
You don't
Biden
lie.
has been lying to the American people
And
for about 3 and 4 years, walking
Never
around.
said a lie.
I don't know nothing. I didn't even know my son had this deal until he got home.
Right.
I saw it on TV when we
What?
all learned it.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Joe Biden. I'm
I
dumb.
know.
See, because this
I don't know
man
nothing.
right here has some details. Now, I must say, y'all, I'm worried about the man now. He concerned me because at the end of this man hit me with and tomorrow I plan on dumping off these, this information to the FBI, and I'm going, give it to him tonight,
Right.
just in
Nah.
case, okay? Don't
Don't
talk
walk
about
away and
planning
go
on doing it.
home.
Get it to him right now on camera so you can see that it made it, okay? Because see, I don't want nobody to get to him, it will be very obvious something happened. But I even worry about somebody getting to him and be like, okay, man, you want to give it to him? Go ahead. Watch what we do.
Watch
See, it's that
what we
threat.
do.
And you love your little brother, don't you? Yeah. You like your mama? Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and give it to him. I don't want nothing to go wrong in that transition period of getting those cell phones to whomever. So this man right here, who has inner access to the Biden and all of this stuff on these cell phones, this man does this press conference talking about, why I oughta. Anyway, so this man got all of that information, but guess what? When this press conference was going on, remember that? Remember? Yeah. Only people covered that was Fox. So now, bombshell information and witness with evidence comes out, talks about this, and every other network didn't even cover it. Now, I'm just wondering why not. Isn't that amazing? It's kind of like how when black folks were being killed during all those riots of those peaceful protesters, only the murders that they could use and say, well, look at this. White nationalism is responsible for this. But when the black police officer got shot, we don't need to cover that. It's kind of like how one black person that gets shot by the cops, whereas you learn later on that brother got his shot. But they want to run that straight. And then over the weekend, 60-something folks shot up there in D.C. And I heard something happened in D.C. over the weekend, man. That's crazy. What happened? I don't know. It's not newsworthy. See, they right there are so corrupt, the liberal media. You're telling me you don't cover this story? I'm concerned if you didn't. But I did see them covering some garbage about Trump and an account in China and all of that. And he paid money and taxes to the Chinese. And I'm saying, okay. You know what? See, I'm going to have to go common sense for a second on these people. Okay. All right. So let me understand this. Trump been doing business all over the world. Okay. You find out that he had an account in China for whatever reason that he just said that was closed down. But nonetheless, there's no record of any type of criminal dealing or activity. So he was free to do it. So you're not saying that he violated the law. What you're trying to do is create the image or perception that he is some big old guru of finance and everything he does is money motivated and he got all of this money coming in from these dirty folks. There's no evidence of any of that, just the fact that he had an account there. Yeah, y'all see that? Yeah. We ain't gonna tell you what the account was for. We ain't gonna tell you if it was, an improper or an illegal account. No. He had an account in China and he paid taxes. But let's overlook the criminal activity of Joe Biden using Hunty Biden to launder money and pimp out his name to all of these other countries that Joe Biden might have to do business with. And we're relying on Joe to be tough on these people who his son profited off of. Are you kidding me? But yeah, we're not fake news. We just go wherever the narrative and the information guides our nose. Well, obviously, you're a hound dog without a nose. You can't smell nothing because I got a human nose and I smell that doo-doo from here. I'm able to solve the whole case right now on my laptop, honestly. And that's why I can't understand how in the world that these corrupt politicians get away with this, and people ran out and voted for Joe Biden to put this corrupt politician back in office so he can continue being corrupt.
Thinker.
Man, I've lost faith
God.
in humanity, or at least a large part of humanity in the United States. Good grief. So anyway, I'm sure there'll be more clips to go over and talk about in the next couple of days. I want to see the reaction of the media and all of that stuff. I just
But not done yet. I'm gonna show you something. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Look at me and look at you. I guess I should show you now. As, we're not done.
You know firsthand how hard we work every day. I've been an officer for almost 16 years. God bless you, Mary. God bless you, and keep up the good fight. Tatum, you're a force of nature. There is one industry you can't mess with, and that is the oil and gas industry. It is the foundation of many others. God knows what is what is supported by it, and why, and who is supported by it. People like me. Yeah, they ain't mess with the goal. I mean, they ain't gonna get no votes. They tried that last time and they got screwed. But anyway, Mary, thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for the crazy super chat. And I do support police officers, man. We donated 130,000 to Sergeant Mattingly, and then Officer Jacob Hancher. We raised $50,000. I ended the fundraiser, but we raised $50,000 for Officer Hancher, and I got to find a time to go down there and deliver it. For those of you who donated, his family, they want some alone time, so I can't really go down there and talk to them so the police department took on the mantle for me to come down there and present the check to the police department, and they'll deliver it to the family. And I understand why. The family is grieving the loss of their son. They probably ain't thinking about none of this, but we will donate it to the family. I'm gonna fly down there at some point. Hopefully I can get down there when the family is thanks, baby. I'm gonna get down there when the family is feeling a little better, hopefully. But regardless, I'm gonna fly down there and present it to the family. I mean, to the police department, that they'll later give it to the family. And I'll tape it. I'll videotape it so all you guys can see it. I shouldn't be drinking this like that, but I'm thirsty. And that was good. Let me get over here. I saw it, man. I saw it.
I'm looking at. I sent it to your inbox. It's just an article with.
You sent it to my inbox?
Yeah, it's got their article with their.
People up on here.
No, it's a video out there.
Like,
I can probably
folks,
Google it.
and subscribe.
Check the Trump War Room YouTube page. Okay. It probably was a war room. It probably wasn't Trump's page. Trump War Room.
I'm on. I've looked at a few pages. Everyone posts so much stuff,
I know they post stuff all day long, and it's hard to tell with the headline, like what it looks like.
I don't remember if it was 1 week or 2 weeks ago, or if it was like after the last debate or what. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Play the radio. Make sure.
Man, I ain't gonna find this thing, and I remember seeing it too, and I was like, "Holy smokes!"
Yeah, you move on. I'll find it.
I gotta move on.
Someone has it.
Gotta move on. All right. Anyway, I thank you guys, man. I really want to say I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the people who follow me and supported me. It's on the Trump app, but I can't pull the app up on the computer. me and thousands of other people that work there are done. So, yep. So I hope all y'all vote. They lying, man. They people ain't finna do that. China got a virus going around the world, and they talking about if we get China to cooperate. Man, they ain't finna cooperate with America. Come on, man. Y'all just being dumb. Can't find it, man. I can't find it. But I love you guys anyway. I got to get up off here. My head hurting. So I love you guys, man. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Yo. These are doing some shit. I'm trying to tell you.
People have used to describe me when they see me wearing this shirt.
Money.
If we don't control insiders, this will be.
Put everything out there. Be like, here, have at it.
Right.
Hunter Biden was actually doing. Hunter Biden's been doing for years, and now they're okay with it.
Right.
I mean, when I look at what social media has done trying to censor the New York Post, it's the second largest paper in New York. It's a 200-year-old institution. They did this, and now the media that lost their goddamn minds every time Donald Trump called them fake news, turns out he was right about the Russia hoax. Now they're calling fake news on their own journalists when the Biden campaign themselves won't even deny that these things are true.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to say. That's a big difference between, we showed this on the program, I believe 2 days ago, when your dad was asked by the moderator, Welker, who we'll get into, about Russia. He said, I never colluded or worked with Russia. It is a complete hoax, and you should know. He answered unequivocally denied it, whereas Biden just goes, yeah, you would ask that question, fat China.
Yeah. No, well, and that's the thing. And more importantly, then they put out this thing. Well, Joe Biden didn't have that meeting in his official calendar. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Let me look at his Google, at his iCalendar, Ayatollah with Iran and a VPN. Okay, make some calls.
Yeah, you didn't put corrupt meeting with oligarch paying Hunter million, who's holding millions for Joe, in the official White House calendar. But the fact that the media hears that, not the question that was asked, by the way, but they hear that and they say, oh, this is freaking wonderful. Joe's clear.
Right.
Joe's clear. And now you have the media literally today and the Democrats and the Never Trumpers peddling like Iranian disinformation. They're like, let's just send it out there because it hurts Donald Trump.
Well, can I clarify something here? Because
Iran try to hurt Donald Trump. I mean, think about how insane this is.
Yeah, and that's something that's important because it's been misrepresented. They've tried to say, look, the Iranians actually were sending and Russians are disseminating this disinformation campaign, trying to intimidate voters. No, hold on a second. They sent false letters as the Proud Boys to try and intimidate. Do you really think that they're doing that to try and help Donald Trump? Do you really, they're like, oh, send them, say it's the Proud Boys?
Donald Trump, Donald Trump that canceled the deal where Obama and Biden gave them $150 billion. Yeah,
Right.
Donald Trump canceled that. The Iranians really want Donald Trump to win. Russia really wants Donald Trump to win, who put more sanctions on Russia than any administration, including during the Cold War under Reagan. No, they want Joe Biden to win because they know they've bought him off. Imagine this, Stephen. What
Okay.
they've found already on Hunter. That's like 1 or 2 journalists looking. Imagine they stick 10,000 journalists on Donald Trump Jr. like they did. Do it to Hunter. Imagine how much more they would find.
Yeah.
Imagine how much more is there if they were even willing to look, but they're not.
And you know
Because
what?
they
If there's not enough there, just give him a 10-gram rock, and he'll give you. Everyone knows the keys to the safe with Hunter Biden. Let me ask you. This is actually giving me deja vu from when John Kerry officially endorsed Osama bin Laden. I remember it was so stupid that he released it. It's like, well, if you want him to win, Osama, don't say. No one's wanting your endorsement. Let me ask. Do you think any? Go ahead.
But Joe Biden got the Osama bin Laden endorsement too. In the raid, they killed Osama bin Laden. They found the documents that were classified at the end of last year. There are documents between.
Oh God! Virtue
Got my
signal
mask
right away.
on.
Let me take this mask off here.
Oh, my God.
Please, Donald Trump, just aerosol particles
And
like
I
you're
do
the
want to say a
Joker
very
in the
good evening
parade
to
with Michael
both of
Keaton.
you. This debate will cover 6 major topics. At the beginning of each section, each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer my first question. The debate commission will then turn on their microphone only when it is their turn to answer. And the commission will turn it off exactly when the 2 minutes have expired. After that, both microphones will remain on. But on behalf of the voters, I'm going to ask you to please speak one at a time. The goal is for you to hear each other.
Which
and for
voters?
the
I almost
American
said Savannah.
people to hear
They're all the
every
same.
word of what you both have to say. And so with that, if you're ready, let's start. And we will begin with the fight against the coronavirus. President Trump, the first question is for you. The country is heading into a dangerous new phase. More than 40,000 Americans are in the hospital tonight with COVID, including record numbers here in Tennessee. And since the two of you last shared a stage, 16,000 Americans have died from COVID. So please be specific. How would you lead the country during this next stage of the coronavirus crisis? 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So, as you know, 2.2 million people modeled out were expected to die. We closed up the greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China. It's a worldwide pandemic. It's all over the world. You see the spikes in Europe and many other places right now. If you notice, the mortality rate is down 85%. The excess mortality rate is way down and much lower than almost any other country. And we're fighting it, and we're fighting it hard. There is a spike. There was a spike in Florida, and it's now gone. There was a very big spike in Texas. It's now gone. There was a very big spike in Arizona. It's now gone. And there are some spikes and surges in other places. They will soon be gone. We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks, and it's going to be delivered. We have Operation Warp Speed, which is the military is going to distribute the vaccine. I can tell you from personal experience that I was in the hospital. I had it, and I got better. And I will tell you that I had something that they gave me, a therapeutic, I guess they would call it. Some people could say it was a cure. But I was in for a short period of time, and I got better very fast, or I wouldn't be here tonight.
Right.
And now they say I'm immune, whether it's 4 months or a lifetime. Nobody's been able to say that, but I'm immune. More and more people are getting better. We have a problem that's a worldwide problem. This is a worldwide problem. But I've been congratulated by the heads of many countries on what we've been able to do. If you take a look at what we've done in terms of goggles and masks and gowns and everything else, and in particular ventilators, we're now making ventilators
replenish the
all
stockpile
over the
that
world,
Obama and Biden
thousands and
depleted. So
thousands a month,
good contrast, good start.
all over the world. It will go away, and as I say, we're rounding the turn, we're rounding the corner. It's going away.
Okay, former Vice President Biden, to you, how would you lead the country out of this crisis? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Watch for the reactions too.
220,000 Americans dead. You hear nothing else I say tonight. Hear this. anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially.
Not
Anyone
saying
who's
I'm not
responsible
taking.
for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States of America.
Dementia moment.
We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths a day now, 1,000 deaths a day. And there are over 70,000 new cases per day. Compared to
New positive
what's
tests.
going on in Europe,
Different.
as the New England Medical Journal said, they're starting from a very low rate. We're starting from a very high rate. The expectation is we'll have another 200,000 Americans dead between now and the end of the year. If we just wore these masks, the president's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives. And we're in a circumstance where the president thus far and still has no plan.
By the way, that's not a scientific study, so I hope that gets fact checked by
Make
Facebook
sure
and
we
Twitter.
have everyone encouraged
mask,
to wear a
unless
mask
washed
all
in a
the time.
commercial
I would
washing
make
machine
sure
that gets hot enough,
we move in the
does
direction
nothing.
of
It makes it
rapid
worse.
testing,
Fact check me,
investigative
YouTube.
rapid
Find me one
testing.
study
I
that
would
says
make sure
his shitty
that
little
we set up
mask,
national
his
standards
shitty
on
little
how to
house on the
open up
prairie
schools,
head
open up
dress,
businesses so they can be safe,
unwashed,
and
worn
give
on his
them the
beady
wherewithal,
little
the
face
financial resources
helps
to
anything.
do
There's
that.
no science.
We're in a situation now where the New England Medical Journal, one of the most serious journals in the whole world, said for the first time ever that the way this president has responded to this crisis has been absolutely tragic. And so, folks, I will take care
Well,
of this.
some doctors in Maine said it.
I will make sure we have a plan.
President Trump, I'd like to follow up with you and your comments. You talked about taking a therapeutic. I assume you're referencing Regeneron. You also said a vaccine will be coming within weeks.
Yes.
Is that a guarantee?
No, it's not a guarantee, but it will be by the end of
Leading
the year.
question
But I
right
think
away,
it has
trying
a
to
good
lock it down.
chance
You
for
should
two
have locked down
companies,
Biden
I
and
think,
anything.
within a matter of weeks, and it will be distributed very quickly.
Can you tell us which companies?
Johnson & Johnson is doing very well. Moderna is doing very well. Pfizer is doing very well. And we have numerous others. Then we also have others that we're working on very closely with other countries, in particular Europe.
Let me follow up with you because this is new
This is the
information.
fourth
You have
follow-up
said
now.
a vaccine is coming soon within weeks now. Your own officials say it could take well into 2021 at the earliest for enough Americans to get vaccinated. And even then, they say the country will be wearing masks and distancing into 2022. Is your timeline realistic?
No, I think my timeline is going to be more accurate. I don't know that they're counting on the military the way I do, but we have our generals lined up, one in particular that's the head of logistics. And this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go as soon as we have the vaccine. And we expect to have 100 million vials. As soon as we have the vaccine, he's ready to go.
Vice President Biden, your
Four
reaction,
cornering
just
follow-up questions to
40% of
Trump. Let's see if she does that with
Americans say
Biden.
they would definitely agree to take a coronavirus vaccine if it was approved by the government. What steps would you take to give Americans
The Democratic
confidence
Party is a party
in
of
a vaccine if it were
anti-vaxxers. They won't take the
Make sure
vaccine. They
it's
politicize it.
totally transparent. Have the scientists will see it, know it, look at it, go through all the processes. And by the way,
Spit it, right?
this is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a
Said it
dark
could go
winter,
away like a miracle.
a dark winter. And he has
dark
no
winter.
clear plan, and there's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine
Fear,
available
fear,
for the majority
hopelessness.
of the
Unless you vote for
American
him.
people before the
America,
middle of
great,
next year.
great
President Trump's
progress.
reaction, he says you
I
have
don't
no
think we're
plan.
going to have a dark
Hopelessness,
winter
fear,
and
dark
at
winter.
all. We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning. When I closed and banned China from coming in heavily infected, and then ultimately Europe, but China was in January.
What's that little smirk
Months
for,
later, he
Biden?
was
You
saying I was xenophobic.
catch a whiff of
I
a
did it too
6-year-old
soon.
off
Now we're
stage?
saying, "Oh, I should have, moved quicker." But he didn't move quicker. He was months behind me, many months behind me.
Yeah.
And frankly, he ran the H1N1 swine flu, and it was a total disaster, far less lethal, but it was a total disaster. Had that had this kind of numbers, 700,000 people would be dead right now, but it was a far less lethal disease. Look, his own person who ran that for him, who, as you know,
I
was
got
his
swine flu.
chief of staff, said it was catastrophic. It was horrible. We didn't know what we were doing. Now he comes up and he tells us how to do this. Also, everything that he said about the way every single move that he said we should make, that's what we've done. We've done all of it. But he was way behind us.
Vice President Biden, your response.
My response is he is xenophobic, but not because he shut down access from China. And he did it late after 40 countries had already done that. In addition to that, what he did, he made sure that we had 44 people that were in there in China trying to get to Wuhan to determine what exactly the source was. What did the president say in January? He said, no, he said, he's being transparent. The president of China is being transparent. We owe him a debt of gratitude. We have to thank him. And then what happened was we started talking about using the Defense Act.
Cuomo and
make
Pelosi
sure we
told
go out
people to
and
go
get
to
everything.
Chinatown and movie theaters
have a
in
life.
March.
And
In
again,
March,
I go back to this.
asshat.
He had nothing. He did
Right.
And you weren't
virtually
anywhere.
nothing.
Well, we
And
had
then
Spike.
he gets out of the hospital and
Oh,
he
shit.
talks about don't worry, it's all gonna be over soon. Come on. There's not another serious
Yeah,
scientist in
right?
the world who thinks it's going to be over soon.
President Trump,
Uh,
your reaction?
Say over soon. I say we're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a
Right.
basement
It's
like
nothing a
Joe
bitch
does.
about.
He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of
You
money
guys are looking
someplace.
down.
But he has this thing about living in a basement. People can't do that. By the way, I, as the president, couldn't do that. I'd love to put myself in the basement or in a beautiful room in the White House
Right.
and go away for a
dumbass.
year and a half until it disappears. I can't do that.
Hide in the
And
basement,
Kirsten,
Biden.
every meeting I had, and I'd meet a lot of families, including Gold Star families
of
and military
families.
families. Every meeting I had, and I had to meet them. I had to. It would be horrible to have canceled everything. I said, this is dangerous. And you catch it. And, I caught it. I learned a lot. Great doctors, great hospitals.
Great.
And now I recovered. 99.9 of young people recover. 99% of people recover. We have to recover. We can't close up our nation. We have to open our schools, and we can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a
Stay in
nation.
the house.
And of course, the CDC has said young people can get sick with COVID-19
doing
or
that.
can pass it.
Yeah, he's
Vice
doing
President Biden, I
The
want to
data
talk
ain't
broadly
never
about
leading them
strategy,
pork chops,
though.
every
Put your
Sunday.
fake thumb down.
30 seconds, please, and then I have a question.
No, number one, he says that we're learning to live
In
with
your
it.
pants.
People are learning to die with
Right.
it.
Number
You
one.
folks home will have an empty chair at the kitchen table this morning. That man or wife going to bed tonight and reaching over to try to touch their
empty
out
crutch
of habit where the wife or husband is gone.
Fuck off.
Learning to live with it. But come on. We're dying with it.
Come on.
Because
Sorry.
he's never
Pardon me.
said,
I'm
you
just-
see, you said it's dangerous.
Right.
When's the last time?
Has
Is it
anyone heard a
really
glimmer of hope
dangerous
from
still?
Biden?
Are we
Not
dangerous?
once.
Tell me
Nothing but
it's
fear.
dangerous now?
America's
What should they do
crap.
about the danger?
President's crap.
And you say,
People are learning
I
to
take no
die.
responsibility.
You would think that this
Let me
was
talk about this.
everyone was
Excuse me,
catching
I
mass
take-
cancer.
I take
Yeah.
full responsibility. It's not my fault that he came here. It's China's fault. And you know what? It's not Joe's fault that he came here either. It's China's fault. They
China.
kept it from going into the rest of China for the most part,
It's true.
but
China.
they didn't keep it from coming out to the world, including Europe and ourselves.
Vice President Biden.
Fact is that when we
Drinking
knew it was
game.
coming, when it
We did
hit,
a bang.
what happened?
Drink.
What did the president say?
You said to go to movie
He
theaters in
said,
Chinatown.
don't worry, it's going to go away. Be gone by Easter. Don't worry. The warm weather. Don't worry.
In
Maybe
March,
inject bleach.
your
He said he was
party
kidding
said
when he
go to
said that. A
movie
lot of
theaters in
people thought it was
Chinatown, and
serious.
Fauci was talking
A whole
about
range of
cruises.
things the president has said.
They
Even
can bring that up
today,
as an overlay in
he
case you
thinks
doubt
we
it.
are in
Doubt your
control.
senses.
We're about to
Since we're
lose
going Dickens.
200,000 more people.
President Trump.
Look, perhaps just to finish
Look.
this, I was kidding on that, but just to finish this, when I closed, he said I shouldn't have closed. And that went on for months. What Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was
True. There it is.
dancing on
There
the
it is.
streets in Chinatown in San Francisco.
Someone's
There it
watching
When
our
I
is.
stream.
closed,
Thank
he said,
you.
this is a terrible
Thank
thing.
you.
You're xenophobic. I think he called me racist even. And because I was closing it to China. Now he says I should have closed it earlier. It just, Joe, it doesn't work.
I didn't say either of those things.
You
I didn't say
certainly
China
did.
Pelosi,
You
and
certainly
I
did.
That was
I
Nancy
talked about
Pelosi.
said all those
xenophobia in a
things.
different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
All right,
That
I want
ain't
to
got
talk
nothing
about
to do
both of
with
your different
running down
strategies.
Just has to
town.
be the day
I
of
shouldn't
in
have
response
closed
to
the
Donald
border.
Trump's
Well,
statement.
Dumb
obvious.
shit.
Is that, do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President
No.
Biden? Okay. Let's talk about your different
No.
strategies toward
No,
dealing with
because
this.
I
Mr.
forgot
Vice
what he
President,
said.
you
That would be
suggested we
wrong.
support new shutdowns if
That's what they do. They call someone
scientists
racist and
recommended it.
xenophobic,
What do you
and
say
then
to
no
Americans
accountability.
who are
Yep.
fearful that the cost of shutdowns, the impact on the economy, the higher rates of
God.
hunger, depression, domestic and substance abuse outweighs the risk of exposure to the virus?
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that
How?
caused
What?
the virus,
How?
caused the
What
country
specific?
to have to shut down in
Shrink,
large
by the way,
part.
talking tough.
Why businesses have gone under, why schools are
Okay,
closed.
really
why so
quickly,
many
because he's
people have
answering with
lost
nothing,
their
and I know
living,
that we don't want to
and why
get
they're
hit with the
concerned.
copyright.
Those
But
other
notice when she
concerns are
asked
real.
Donald
That's
Trump, she
why
said,
he
"What's
should
the
have been
timeline
instead of
on
saying
the
Trump at
vaccine?
golf
Can you
course, he should have
guarantee
been
it?
negotiating
Who's
with
going to
Nancy
do it?
Pelosi and
Which
the rest
companies?
of the
Very
Democrats,
specific.
Republicans.
There have been no
What
specific
company
answers
is
from
it?
Biden and no follow-ups from Biden. I'm going to shut down the virus. If that were Donald Trump, how? With vaccines? With who's going to make it? What's the timeline? Can you guarantee it?
Right.
I'm not shutting down the name, but there are, look,
Look.
they need standards. The standard
Sure
is
it is.
if you have a reproduction
That
rate
don't
in the
mean that we
community
just say,
that's
look.
above a certain level, everybody says,
Look.
slow up. More social distancing.
Who's ever heard slow up?
Do
Is it
not
slow
open
down? Slow up.
bars and do not open gymnasiums. Do not
Speed
open until
down.
you get this under control.
Hold up.
Under
Slow
more
down.
control.
Simmer up.
But when you do open, give the people the capacity to be able to open and
I
have
want to build the
capacity
economy
to do
down.
it safely. For example, schools. Schools, they need a lot of money to
Schools.
build them. They need to deal with ventilation systems. They need to deal with smaller classes, more teachers, more pods. And he's refused to support that
fuck are
money,
you
or at least up to now.
Let's talk about schools. President
I
Trump,
think we
you-
have to respond if I
I
may.
supported school
Please, and then
choice,
I have a
dumbass.
follow-up.
Thank you.
You
and I
just threw money at
appreciate
it.
Look, all he does is talk about shutdown.
He's
But
being
forget
very
about him.
polite.
His Democrat
I'm liking
governors, Cuomo in New York, you look at what's going on in California, you look at Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Democrats all, they're shut down so tight and they're dying. They're dying. And he supports all these people. All he talks about is shutdowns. No, we're not going to shut down, and we have to open our schools. And it's like, as an example, I have a young son. He also tested positive. By the time I spoke to the doctor the second time, he was fine. It just went away. Young people, I guess it's their immune system.
Let me follow up with you, President Trump. You've demanded schools open in person and insist they
Another
can do it
specific for
safely.
Trump.
But just
Another
yesterday,
follow-up
No
on him.
follow-ups
Boston
and
became
specifics for
the
Biden.
latest city to
Wow.
move its public
Another
school system
follow-up.
entirely
It's a softer
online
bias,
after a
but it's actually
coronavirus
more
spike. What is your
pervasive.
message to parents who worry
Biden.
that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids, but also their teachers and families?
Well, the parents
I
should
wanna
follow
open the
science,
schools.
sweetheart.
The transmittal rate to the teachers is very small, but I want to open the schools.
Very
We have to
small.
open our country. We're not going to have a country.
Right.
You can't do
The fuck
this.
you-
We can't keep this
We're not
country
moving away
closed.
from
There's
not
a
opening our
massive
country.
country with a massive economy. People are losing their jobs. They're committing suicide. There's depression, alcohol, drugs at a level that
Sitting the
nobody's ever seen before.
Nobody's ever seen
There's abuse,
before.
tremendous abuse. We have to open our country. You know, I've said
Especially
it often.
lesbian
The
households.
cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. And that's what's happening. And he wants to close down. He'll close down the country.
By the way, you know who's against
if
close downs,
one
lockdowns?
person in our-
The World Health
in our
Organization. And
massive
now Fauci, even though he was for them. And I was like,
bureaucracy
I never
says
said
we should close
lockdowns.
it down.
I'm sure you did,
Vice
Geppetto.
President Biden, your response.
Simply not true. We ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We ought to be able to safely open, but would they need
Gerald A.
resources
is
to
here.
open? You need to be
Macho
able
Man
to, for
Gerald A.
example, if you're going to open a business,
We can't see you.
have social distancing within the business. You need to have, if you have
Amazing.
a restaurant, you need to have plexiglass dividers so people cannot infect one
That's
another.
him bitching
You
about
need
there
to
not
be in a
being
position where
plexiglass
you
in the
can
debate.
take
What the hell?
testing rapidly
Look.
and know whether a person is in fact infected. You need to be able to trace. You need to be able to provide all the resources that are needed to do this. And that is not inconsistent with saying that
What you've missed is 3, 4, 5.
we're going to make
follow-ups.
sure that we
Listening
can open
to
safely.
Yeah.
And by the way, all you teachers out there, not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it. So don't worry about it.
But if
So
that's true,
teachers
why
don't
shouldn't
die.
you say
Let me
it?
follow up with you
By
quickly.
the way, I will say this. If
Come
you
on.
go and look at what's
Said, come on,
happened to New
Drake,
York,
yeah?
it's a ghost town. It's a ghost
Come
town.
on.
And when you talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting up plexiglass is unbelievably expensive.
Biden
And
keeps
it's
trying
not
to
the
interrupt and
answer.
get
I
in.
mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You just can't. Take a look at New York and what's happened to my wonderful city for so many years. I loved it. It was vibrant. It's dying. Everyone's leaving New York.
Take a look
Vice
at what
President
New
Biden.
York has done in terms of turning the curve down in terms of the number of people dying.
More
And
deaths
I don't
per
look at
capita than
statistics
anywhere
either.
on earth.
Blue states.
That'd
and
be
red
like
states.
saying, yeah,
They're
look
all
at what the
United
leprosy
States.
pit
And look at the
did.
states that are having such
What?
a spike
They killed all the
in
lepers.
the coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. They're the states in the upper Midwest. That's where the spike is occurring significantly. But they're all
in the upper- you mean
Americans.
like-
They're
are we
all
talking about
Americans.
Michigan?
And what we have to do is say,
Michigan,
wear
Pennsylvania,
these masks.
68%
Number one.
nursing
Make
homes.
sure we
Why don't
get
we
the
talk
help
about that?
that the
New York
businesses
did well.
need that has
Pennsylvania did
money's
well.
already been
Michigan did
passed
well.
to do
New
that.
Jersey did well.
It's been out
Let's
there
compare it to,
since the
say,
beginning of the
Texas.
summer,
Come on
and
now.
nothing's happened.
The blue states have the worst
New York
economies and they
has
have the worst
lost
death rates. It's
more
not
than
even close. You can bring it up as an
40,000
overlay.
people.
on, man.
11,000 people in nursing homes.
President Trump, what
When you
about
say spike, take a look at what's happening in Pennsylvania, where they've had it closed. Take a look at what's happening with your friend in Michigan, where her husband's the only one allowed to do anything. It's been like a prison. Now, it was just ruled
Michigan's
unconstitutional.
like a prison.
Take a look at North Carolina.
So
They're
betrayed.
having spikes, and they've been closed, and they're getting killed financially. We can't let that happen, Joe. You can't let that happen. We have to open up. And we understand the disease. We have to protect our seniors. We have to protect our elderly. We have to protect especially our seniors with heart problems and diabetes problems. And we will protect them. We have the best testing in the world by far.
People like
That's
Joe.
why we have so many cases.
Let me follow up with you before we move on to our next section. President Trump, this week you called Dr. Anthony Fauci, the
Another
nation's
follow-up.
best-known infectious disease expert,
That idiot.
quote, a disaster. You described him and other medical experts as, quote, idiots. If you're not listening to them,
Best
who are you
known.
listening to
Let-
as you
let me-
fight this?
I'm listening to all of them, including Anthony. I get along very well with Anthony, but he did
Leading
say,
question. Drink.
don't wear masks.
Hashtag
He did
Crowdermania.
say,
Crowdermania is a promo
as
code.
you know, this
LiveRecutter.com
is not
/Muckle.
going
You
to
get
be a
$30
problem.
off.
I think he's a Democrat, but that's okay. He
What's
said
the
this is
costume
not going
contest?
to be a problem. We are not going to have a
course Fauci's a
problem at all.
Democrat.
When Joe says that, I said, Anthony Fauci said, and others, and many others, and I'm not knocking him a lot. Nobody knew. Look, nobody knew what this thing was. Nobody knew where it was coming from, what it was. We've learned a lot. But Anthony said, don't wear masks. Now he wants to wear masks. Anthony also said, if you look back, exact words, here's his exact words. This is no problem. This is going to go away soon. So he's allowed to make mistakes. He happens to be a good person.
Vice President Biden, your response quickly, and then we're going to move on
Very
to the next
gracious
section.
The
from Donald Trump.
response is that
Because
think
Fauci's a
about
piece of
what
shit.
The president knew in January and didn't tell the American people. He was told this was a serious virus that spread
We
in
can
the air.
fact check Biden
and
on
it was
anything,
much worse
sweetheart.
than-
Anything.
Much worse.
No.
than
Anything
the
at all.
flu.
Look, I've got the time.
went
Did he
on
just
record
say
and
Donald
said
Trump
to
knew in January and
one of
didn't do
your
anything?
colleagues
Where's the timeline here, Gibby? I thought
that
you
in
put
fact
the,
he
okay.
knew how dangerous
January
it was. He didn't
31st
wanna
announced the
tell us.
Chinese travel
Didn't wanna
restrictions
tell us
and
because
declared
he
it a
wants to
public health emergency.
Americans don't panic.
Your people
He
said go to
And guess
Chinatown
what?
as
In
far
the
as
meantime, we found out in
March.
The New York Times the other day that in fact.
How
his
about a
folks went to
follow-up,
Wall Street and
Kristen
said, This is
Welker?
a really dangerous thing.
Won't happen.
And the
Shit.
memo
How about a
of that meeting
follow-up,
was
Miss
not from
Abercrombie
his
ethnic?
administration, But from some of the brokers said,
But I
sell
appreciate
short
everybody
because we got to get
coming in,
moving.
like, follow
It's a
shit.
dangerous
Well,
process.
this is
I'm
why-
going to give you
this
30
is what I
seconds to
haven't-
respond, and then we're
The
going
Wall
to
Street
move
one, I
on.
don't know. Somebody
We're
went
gonna
to Wall
move
Street.
on.
You're the one that takes all the money
It's
from Wall Street.
amazing.
I don't take
It's
it.
funny how they did.
You have raised a lot of money, tremendous
They
amounts of
did,
money.
but they didn't.
And every time you raise money, deals are made, you know. I could raise so much more money as president and as somebody
2
that knows
minutes
most
and
of
the
those
other person
people.
gets to go.
I could call the heads of Wall
That's
Street, the
right.
heads
Deny
of
it,
every
Joe.
company
Deny
in
you don't
America.
get more Wall Street
I
money.
would blow away
Do it.
every record, but
Do
I
it.
don't want to do
Deny
that
it, Joe.
because
Do
it
it.
puts me in a bad
Deny it
position.
straight through those
And then you bring up Wall
ironically
Street. You
gray
shouldn't be bringing
dentures.
up
I don't know
Wall
why you
Street
pay for them.
because you're the one that takes the money from Wall Street, not me.
My
I
average-
could blow away your records that like you wouldn't believe. We don't need money. We have plenty of money. In fact,
You got plenty of money.
we beat Hillary Clinton with a tiny fraction of the money that she was
All
able.
right, gentlemen, we're going
Don't
to move
tell me
on.
about Wall
Average
Street.
contribution, $43.
All right, we're going to move on to our
What a
next
nice
section, which is
spending money.
national security.
No.
And I do want to start with the
There was no
security of our elections and
$43.
some breaking news from overnight. Just last night, top intelligence officials confirmed again that
We're
both
asking
Russia
about
and
Donald
Iran
Trump
are working to
in a recorded
influence this
call,
election.
calling Fauci an
Both
idiot,
countries
and
have
we're not
obtained
asking
US
Joe
voter
Biden where his
registration
money
information
comes
via
from.
official
Exactly.
and
This
Iran
is worse
sent
than Chris
intimidating
Wallace,
messages
and
to
I hate
Florida
that it won't get as
voters.
much outrage
This
as Chris
question
Wallace
goes to you,
because the
Mr.
outrage
Vice
machine on
President.
the
What
right
would you do
doesn't
to put an
spot.
end to
This is
threat?
far
You
more
have 2 minutes
subversive.
on an
This is
election.
far worse
I made
because
it
people don't
clear.
even know what they're watching.
It's
I asked
amazing.
everyone else to take the
It is.
pledge.
It's
I
amazing.
made it clear that any country, no matter who it is, that interferes in American elections will pay a price. They will pay a price.
What price?
It's been overwhelmingly clear this election.
Is
I won't
Facebook
even
a
get into
country?
the last one. This election, that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree, and now we learn that Iran is
Iran,
involved.
because he wants you.
They will pay
He
a
wants you
price
since
if
they
I'm
line
elected.
their- you
They're
line their
interfering
pockets with
with
billions.
American sovereignty. That's
Give a
what's
follow-up,
going on
Kristen.
right now. They're
Give a
interfering with
follow-up,
American
Welker.
sovereignty.
Yeah,
To the best of my
who's
knowledge, I don't
Iran
think the
backing?
president said anything to
Who
Putin
got
about
the
it.
official
I don't think
Ayatollah
he's talking
fatwa
about it. I don't think he said a
endorsement,
word.
Joe?
I don't know why he hadn't said a word to
They already
Putin
have
about it.
paid a price.
And I don't know what he has recently said,
already
if
have paid a
anything,
price.
to the Iranians. My guess is he'd probably be more outspoken with regard to the Iranians. But the point is this, folks. We are in a situation where we have foreign countries trying to interfere in the outcome of our election. His own national security advisor told him that what is happening with his buddy, I will. His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true. And then
Do you know why he's tripping up?
And then
You know why he's tripping up? Because he doesn't want to
everything is
legally be
going
on the hook
on
here.
here
He cannot
about
say the
Russia is
emails are
wanting
not
to make
real.
sure
The
that I
easiest
do
thing would
not
be
get
right now for
elected
Joe
president of
Biden
the
and his
United
beady
States
little
because
doll
they know
shark
I know
soulless
them,
eyes
and
to say those
they
emails are
know
not real.
me.
He spoke broadly with Russian disinformation not being true. Kristen Welker, if you do not ask him about those emails, point blank, are
He
they
going
authentic
off.
or not, you deserve to be fired.
He's engaged
He
in
brought it up.
activities that
Yeah.
are trying to destabilize all of NATO.
Plug it in
I
there,
don't know
it's
why he
suspect.
doesn't do it, but it's worth asking the question. Why isn't that being done? Any country that interferes with us will, in fact, pay a price because they're affecting our sovereignty.
President Trump, same question to you.
have to
Let me
respond.
ask the
Yes.
question. You're going to have 2 minutes to
You
respond.
got
For
to
two
respond.
elections in a row now, there has been substantial
Yeah.
interference
Got
from
to
foreign adversaries. What would you do in your next term
Come
to put an end to
on.
this? 2 minutes.
Zuckerberg
Well,
endorsing.
let me respond to the first part as Joe answered. Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow, and it was the mayor of Moscow's wife. And you got $3.5 million.
Fact check true.
Your
We can
family
look
got
at
$3.5 million, and someday you're going to have to explain why did you get 3.5. I never got any money from Russia. I don't get money from Russia. Now, about your thing last night, I knew all about that, and through John Ratcliffe, who is fantastic, DNI, he said the one thing that's common to both of them, they both want you to lose because there has been nobody tougher to Russia. Between the sanctions, nobody tougher than me on Russia.
Absolutely.
Between the sanctions, between all of what I've done with NATO, I've got the NATO countries to put up an extra $130 billion, going to $420 billion a year. That's to guard against Russia. I sold, while he was selling pillows and sheets, I sold tank busters to Ukraine. There has been nobody tougher
Mike Lindell.
on
Hey.
Russia than Donald Trump.
That's my racket.
I'll tell you, they were so bad. They took over the submarine port. You remember that very well. During
He
your
doesn't.
term, during you
doesn't,
and
no.
Barack Obama, they took over a big part of what should have been Ukraine. You handed it to them, but you were getting a lot of money from Russia. They were paying you a lot of money, and they probably still are. But now, with what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family. And Joe, you were vice
Ask him.
president when some of this was
Are those
happening,
emails false?
and it should have never happened. And I
Give
think
him the
you
rope.
owe an explanation
Someone give
to
him
the
the rope.
American people.
Please.
Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while
Yep.
ago
Here it
who was
is.
essentially supposed to work with you and your family. But what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I think you have to clean it up and talk to the American people. Maybe you can do it right now.
Vice President Biden, you may
Ooh.
respond.
I'll
30
be straight
seconds.
here.
And then I do want to follow up on the election security.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. We learned this president paid 50 times the tax
He's not gonna
in
answer.
China,
See you in
has a
court.
secret bank account with China, does business in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever. Number one. Number two,
See
this
you
is
in
the
court.
president. I have released all of my tax returns. 22
Still not gonna
years.
answer.
That's
Go
the
look
same
at
talking point. Tax
22
returns.
years of my
Wow.
tax returns.
Yeah, but are the
You
emails
have
real,
not
Joe?
released a
Irrelevant,
single
yeah.
I don't give a rat's
solitary
ass
year
if,
of
if you're
tax
one of the
returns.
least
What are you
successful
hiding?
businessmen in
Why
government,
are
which,
you
by the way,
unruly?
is why you
Foreign
support
countries are
lockdowns or
paying
shutting
you
down
a
businesses to
lot.
25%. Do
Russia's
you think a
paying you a
restaurant
lot.
can operate at
China's
25%
paying you a
capacity with
And your
plexiglass?
hotels
He has
and
no
all your
idea because he's
businesses all around the
suckled
country, all around
at the
the
government
world.
teats
China's
for his
building a
entire
new
life.
road to a
Donald
new
Trump knows you can't operate at
golf course
25%
you have
capacity.
over-
It's not the new normal
So
because it
what's
cannot
going
be
on here?
sustained.
Why don't-
He's full of
Unleash
shit.
tax
He's not
returns.
answering. Kristen Welker doesn't
He
ask him.
going,
Are the
hey,
emails
full
authentic?
of shit.
This is a
I
shame.
called my accountants
Didn't answer.
under audit. I'm
Didn't
going to
answer.
release them as soon as we can. I want to do it. And it'll show how successful, how great this company is. But much more importantly than that, people were saying $750. I asked them a week ago. I said, what did I pay? They said, sir, you prepaid tens of millions of dollars. I prepaid my tax, tens over the last number of years, tens of millions of dollars I prepaid. Because at some point they think
What's
it's an
that little
estimate.
Michael
They think
Landon
I may have
smirk,
to pay
Joe?
tax. So I already prepaid it. Nobody told me that.
Did your account
Nobody
tell you
told
when
you
you
that.
could release
Excuse
them?
me. And it wasn't written whenever they write this. They
Yo.
keep talking about $750, which
Excuse
I think
me,
is a
drink. I think
filing
it's on
fee.
there.
But let me just tell you, I prepaid millions and millions of dollars in taxes. Number one. Number two, I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know. Maybe you're not, but you're the big man, I think. Your son said we have to give 10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about? It's terrible.
All right, gentlemen, I want to ask you both some questions about all of this. I'm going to let you both
Respond.
respond very
Say you're not the
quickly.
big man.
You
You're
just
the little
said you
man.
spoke to
And
an
the-
accountant
his
about
face,
potentially
he looks
releasing your
at me.
taxes. Did he tell you when you can release them? Did he have
Come
a
on.
deadline for when you're going to release them?
I
to the
get
American
treated
people?
worse than the Tea Party got treated. Because I have a lot of people in there, deep down in the IRS, they treat me horribly. We made it, it was all settled until I decide to run for president. I get treated very badly by the IRS, very unfairly. But we had a deal all done. As soon as we're completed with the deal, I want to release it. But I have paid millions and millions of dollars, and it's worse than paying. I paid in advance. It's called prepaying your taxes. I paid in advance.
I want to ask you both about
Like a
questions
prepaid phone
regarding
plan,
the
like
potential
cricket.
entanglements and questions that have been raised to give you both a chance
I'm
to
ready to
talk about
give me
this more
mobile.
broadly. Respond very quickly, and then I'll get to my question.
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years? Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around.
Dodged
You've been
it.
saying for 4
I
years.
thought you were going to hold his feet to the fire,
Nobody knows
Welker.
this
Come
because
on
what
now.
they do know is you're not paying your taxes, or you're paying taxes that are so low. The last time I said what he paid.
Undertaker,
he
I'm going to
said,
need a refill. Make this one a little
because
stronger,
I'm
please.
smart. I know how to game the system.
God, he did it. I
Come
didn't
on.
do it.
So
Come on,
President
drink.
Trump, and then I want to get to
I'll
the
chew on
questions
ice.
to both of you.
Sure.
I was put through a phony witch hunt
Oh,
for
here we
3
go.
years.
Perfect.
It started before I even got elected. They spied on my campaign. No president should ever have to go through what I went through. Let me
Ever.
just say this. Mueller
What is Kristen
and
Welker doing? They
18
say, let me
angry
say this.
Democrats,
What is she
and
mad
FBI
that he's saying
agents
this? We
all
know
over the
that they
place
spied in his
spent
campaign. That's not in
$48
doubt.
million.
That's not in question.
they went through
Why does he have to
everything
tell her to
I
let him
had,
speak?
including my tax returns. And they found absolutely no collusion and nothing wrong. 48 million. I guarantee you, if I spent 1 million on you, Joe, I could find plenty wrong. Because the kind of things that you've done and the kind
Yeah.
of monies that your family has taken. I mean, your brother made money in Iraq.
Let me-
Millions of dollars. Your other brother made a fortune, and it's all through you, Joe. And they say you get some of it, and you do
Biden's
live
brother.
very well. You have houses all over the
Motherfucker.
place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask some questions about all of this broadly.
Oh,
Vice
man,
President
drink.
Biden, there
I'll
have
chew
been
on an ice
questions
cube.
about the work your son
That's his
has
thing.
done in
That's his
China
tell when
and
he's lying.
for a
Yeah.
Ukrainian energy company when you were vice
Play
president.
poker with
In
Biden. Oh, man,
retrospect,
he's bluffing.
is anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical. Here's what to do.
What about inappropriate?
With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Here, let me give you the.
A company, that somehow I had done something wrong.
Sorry, you didn't quite
Yet
get your
every
intro there.
single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying
Bye,
under oath to
Undertaker.
work for him, said, I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing. Number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did
What?
not do because
What
it
the hell is he
never,
talking about?
ever,
Reg
ever
the
happened.
Bandit is on here. Is there
My
any research?
son
This
has
is
not
totally
made money
fabricated and new.
in terms of this
She should
thing
follow
about,
up on that.
What
What?
are you talking about? China. I have not had it. The only guy
Christian
who made
Welker,
money
your
from
follow-up to
China
Joe
is
Biden's
this
critique.
guy. He's the only one.
Huh?
Nobody else has made money from China.
President Trump,
deal with
let me
that. By the
ask
way,
my question to you.
Could I just one thing?
Very quickly.
His son didn't have a job for a long time, was sadly no longer
Is he
in
considered
the
banging
military
crack rocks?
service. I won't get into that. And he didn't have a job. As soon as he became vice president, Burisma, not the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid him
Pointed to Christian Welker when he said that.
$183,000
reputation
month.
like
Listen to
yours.
this. 183, and they gave him a $3 million upfront payment.
All right.
And he had no energy.
I'm going to let the vice president
That's
respond to that quickly, and then I need to get to a question to you. Very
No
quickly,
basis for
Vice
that. Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Okay, President Trump,
Nope.
this is for you. Since you took
Incorrect.
office,
No.
you've never divested from your business.
The guy who
You've
worked with you
personally
just before
promoted
this,
your
who said there
properties
was, and he just
abroad.
handed over
This
laptops and
week,
cell
which
phones.
was referenced, does indicate that your company has a bank account in China. So how can voters
Oh,
know
dear
that you
God.
don't have any foreign conflicts of interest?
What?
I
She's
have
just
many
not
bank
going to ask.
accounts, and they're all listed, and they're all over the place. I mean,
Drake,
I was a
leading question.
businessman doing business. The bank account you're referring to, which is everybody knows about it, it's listed. The bank account was in 2013. That's what it was. It was opened it was closed in 2015, I believe. And then I decided, because I was thinking about doing a deal in China like millions of other people. I was thinking about it, and I decided I'm not going to do it. Didn't like it. I decided not to do it. Had an account open, and I closed it.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Amazing.
And then, unlike
And
China,
what's
where
going
he's vice
on?
president and he does business,
Go ahead and.
I then decided to run for president
You got to
after that. That was
liquidate it.
before.
Yeah,
So I
hop
closed
on,
it
hop on.
before I even
I'm waiting.
ran for president, let alone became
Why
president.
even ran?
Big difference. He is the vice president of the United States, and his son, his brother, and his other brother are getting rich. They're like a vacuum cleaner. They're
Okay, President Trump, thank you. We do need
Not
to
true.
move on. I do want to ask you,
My
Vice
son
President
is not
Biden,
a
about
vacuum
China.
cleaner.
Let's
He does
talk
not
about
suck.
China more broadly.
He
There
blows.
have, of
Oh,
course,
geez.
He blows.
President Trump has said that they should
Nah, his
pay
banging
for not
10-gram
being
crack
fully
rocks makes Charlie
transparent in
Sheen look
regards
like
to the
droopy-eyed, armless
coronavirus.
children,
If
but
you were president,
he
would
is
you
not
make
a Kirby.
China pay? And please be specific.
Doesn't
What
suck,
would
he
that
snorts.
look
He
like?
does
What
blow.
I'd like China to do is play by the international rules.
I think
Not
you're
what
China-
he has done. He has caused the deficit of China to go up, not down. With China,
Up to China.
up, not down.
Up there.
We are making sure that in order to do business in China, you have to give all your intellectual property. You have to have a partner in China. It's 51%. We would not do that at all,
Have to have
number
a
one.
partner.
Number two, we're in a situation where China would